Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mansfield Town News and Views podcast. In tonight's episode, I'm joined with fellow Mansfield Town fan Adrian. First off, Adrian, evening. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Everything's well for the Stags at the moment, so long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to just jump straight into it, really, about the Bristol Rovers game. 0-0. I think, to be honest with you, I think you'd have taken a point before the game, to be quite honest with you, especially being away from home in terrible conditions for both sides. Although we did have chances in the first half that we could have perhaps nicked it, but, it wasn't to be. But, another point and another extends our unbeaten run.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's 11 games unbeaten now, so if you look into the game, you're going to Bristol Rovers, you're going to the Memorial Stadium, you'd have taken anything to get a point, especially with the weather conditions that we've got now. We never know. The game against Newport might be postponed for the weather. You never know, because we've got another storm on the way, which isn't pleasant. But yeah, a point. The point really, not much happened throughout the game. I'd go as far as saying it was quite a dull 0-0 draw. We hung on at the start of the second half to get the point, but it was a good point nevertheless. Like you said, it continues our unbeaten streak, and we're still in the playoffs, which is the most important part.
Yeah, and I think the other thing as well, obviously, looking away from the game against Bristol, teams around us, they didn't pick up maximum points. And I think, again, you're going to see teams above you drop points. So even if it's just a point, it's still a point nevertheless. And I think past couple of games that you've seen, teams around us have dropped points. So it still works in our favour. So we're still better off even now when you think about it. And on top of that, going into the Bristol game, obviously we was out Stephen McLaughlin. He obviously picked up an injury, so we had to have Lucas Akins play back there, which of course he can play back there because he's very versatile. But again, I think in the conditions against a side that we know they've got some decent players. Again, I just don't think you can really complain with that. And again, back with great support.
Yeah, definitely. The support's always been fantastic. It's always been there. I think we're going to talk about the fans forum that happened yesterday with Nigel and David, but they perfectly highlighted it. The support's always been there, win, lose or draw. It's just whether the team are performing, which they are now, and it's lifting them that extra little inch. So a draw, especially at Bristol Rovers with the fans travelling in their numbers, it's fantastic once again, and I think it'll be the same against Newport, especially against Bradford. There's all the tickets have been sold out, so it's definitely going to be a big game against Bradford. But you can't glance against the games that we've got, the games against the Newports, the Tranmeres, the Port Vales coming up as well. So you've got to kind of, like Nigel keeps on saying, repeating himself, they're taking it one game at a time, which I think is crucial to our current run of form.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably where we've gone wrong in recent seasons. We've looked too far ahead, as not just as a club but as a fan. But yeah, it's the best strategy to be, regardless of where you are in the league. So yeah, it's the best, definitely the best strategy as well. Like you say, you mentioned about the evening with, which we'll talk about very shortly. Just get the first comment of tonight. Cole Mineman, good evening. Bristol was there for the taking first half. Second half, all them. I was shocked. Good point in the end, Mark. Yeah, like we've said earlier on, I don't think we can really disagree with that. No. Again, created chances, but look, end of the day, I don't think anyone can complain, to be fair. I think if anything, we just couldn't wait to get back to Mansfield and be warm and dry, to be honest with you, because it was horrible conditions, to be honest.
Point's a point. The weather conditions are what they are. They'll throw many twists and turns, especially for maybe this weekend. We never know. With Storm Ewis, I think it is. Whatever it is, it's Dudley now. Ewis in the next couple of days. There's so many different storms, but still, it keeps our unbeaten run going. Like we keep on banging on about. If you remain unbeaten, not everything's awful and lost. it's all there. It's all intact. The team's still confident, and we're unbeaten in 11 games. So yeah, it's fantastic, and we're still in the playoffs, like I said. So I don't think there's anything to be unhappy about with a point against Bristol Rovers. I think it's more happiness and more relief and confidence that we should be taking from that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and a clean sheet as well that we forgot to mention.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's always a bonus. I mean, I think any team will take that anyway. To be quite honest with you, definitely. Get down to some of your comments, guys. Evening, Craig. Hi, Mark. We have got some hard games coming up. Let's show them what we are made of. Come on, you Stags. Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be honest with you, we are going to take some beating, regardless if that's home or away, because this team's so resilient. I mean, we've seen it. We'll go 2 goals down, we'll come back and we can win 3-2. That's how much this team can really do it. We've spoken about it in the past, the support all season, even when we wasn't playing well and getting the results, that's always been there. And you just know the squad of players that we've got, we're more than capable of doing that. And yeah, there are tough games. There's no doubt about it. Bradford this weekend, although they've sacked their manager, due to poor in the results, that there's still a team that have got players that can hurt you. But at the end of the day, let's just focus on us and let them worry about us. If anything, that's the best thing, to really do it rather than worry about the opposition.
Yeah. Just one thing. It's Bradford next weekend. It's Newport this weekend.
Next week. That's the one.
It's Newport this weekend.
That many games, yes. I do apologise about that.
Yeah, it's Newport this weekend, which is kind of crucial in a sense because they're right below us in the league. They are 7th in the league and we're 6th, so it's kind of a grudge match in a sense there. But yeah, it's all the games are going to be tough, especially I think when we play Exeter at the start of March. They are the current team in form in the league, and I think they'll take a lot of beating, especially like us. We'll take a lot for a team to beat us. So yeah, it's every game in this league is hard. It's no game is a one-off game. All these games are tough, and you've got to take them game by game because they're not easy. You're not going to get a walk in the park. They're all tough. We saw when Newport faced Oldham last weekend, it ended in a 3-3 draw. So twists and turns of this league, but yeah, a game at a time, and I think will be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, 100%. There's that many games that have been played. You kind of, that's what I mean. But I'll take that. I'd rather me make mistake than the team, to be fair. So I'll take that one. I'll take that one on the chin every day of the week, to be fair. Let's get down to more of the comments. Where am I? All right, here we go. Man, was there anything interested said at the fans forum, chaps? Did not go. There was quite a few things, to be fair. It's where do you start, really? I mean, one of the things that we haven't touched upon yet is the ticketing system. David Sharp did mention about that being a lot better. So basically, for season ticket holders, instead of having like 3 or 4 tickets preserved, just to reserve for one person alongside, which will be a good thing, along with talking a bit about the Bishop Street stand as well, in the near future as well. But I think the biggest thing will just all depend on maybe where we are next season as well. I think that's the biggest thing, really. But yeah, there's a number of different things that was. But don't quote me here, guys, but I believe it will be posted up on iFollow in full, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe it usually is. So you'll be able to watch it on there if you didn't go to the evening. But yeah, just want your thoughts on it, Adrian, to be fair. What did you think of the evening?
Well, I didn't go, but I've heard a few things from various Mansfield Town fans. So yeah, I mean, the first thing that kind of stood out to me was Matty Longstaff. It was over a bottle of champagne where that kind of came to fruition, and you're thinking, well, you kind of thinking when he signed for the club on loan, you were thinking, right, there's clearly some heavy thinking on this, but it came about after David Sharp's engagement and a bottle of champagne. Matty Longstaff's agent sat down, and yeah, that came about. But to go back to the ticketing system and the Bishop Street stand, I think the ticketing system needs a bit of a needs a bit of a rejig. I think it's a bit old school in a sense,
Yeah,
um, especially the online system, and especially where the Bradford tickets they caused a little bit of mayhem. People were queuing, and yeah, it wasn't ideal. But the Bishop Street stand is likely going to be happening if we get promoted. That is it, because I don't see us having a fourth stand if we're not in League One. I think it's a requirement to have four stands in League One. Quote me if I'm wrong. I think, but I think there's something that you have to do to fulfil, obviously, the League One quota. So, yeah, it depends if we get promoted, but likelihood being we're up there, and if we get promoted, that stand will likely to be renovated, and then the away fans can have that stand, and then the Stag supporters can have the north stand, the south stand, and the east stand, which would be very nice.
yeah, it would absolutely. But like I say, it just all depends on where we are next season. The same with players. I mean, Nigel said this as well last night. Basically, he's going to see where we are come end of the season. Same with players' contracts, obviously. I mean, the likelihood if we do go up, then most of them players would be the same. I'd imagine. Obviously, just in case of loan players, obviously, it will be a different story. But again, all we can do is just focus on what we're doing now rather than looking too far ahead, because that's the worst thing you can do. But no, look, we're in a good situation. Like you say, we're in the playoffs. Still got a couple of games in hand over some of the teams above us. So, it's a perfect position at this time of the season, and again, yeah, we have got some tough games coming up, but it's one of them. I think the away form past few weeks, in my opinion, has picked up quite a bit, to be fair. So we've got nothing to fear, really. Even when we go down to 10 men, we can still hold out for a game. So, and that's no disrespect to any of the opposition. I just think we've got it in us to, carry on this unbeaten run going as long as we possibly can.
It's just the confidence in the squad. It's down to do with the staff, the personnel, the manager, the CEO, the chairman, the chairwoman, Caroline, John. The whole club seems to be in a very positive state, and I think that's what's driven the squad to believe that they can and they will get promoted from League Two this season. I mean, it's been a couple of seasons where we haven't seen real action at the top end of the table. The last time was the 2018-19 season, and we lost in the playoff semi-final. So I think the best path for us is to get promoted automatically, because then we don't have to have the hassle with the playoffs. But it'd be nice to have a trip down to Wembley, for example, if we do get to the playoff final and win that and get promoted via the playoffs. But yeah, there's still, I want to say, 17 games to go for in our season, and come May time, we could be in the automatic promotion places and waiting to get promoted into the third tier. So you can't rule out anything. It's so tight up there in the top 10-ish places. So yeah, this league is very weird. It's very strange. But yeah, we don't know what will happen between now and the end of the season. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah, it is, and that's it. This is League Two for you. It's never a straightforward thing, and usually in previous seasons, when you've got teams fighting for that playoff spot or promotion spot, you always get that one team that would drop. Now, who that'll be, who knows who that'll be? But all you can do is focus on yourself and just let everything else take care of itself. Is the best thing you can really do, to be fair. And that's all there is to it. Let's get down to some of your comments, guys. Danny, we have some hard games. How many do you think we can win? Good question, that, Danny. Very good question. I put it to you first, Adrian. I'll put you on the spotlight for this one.
It's tough. Newport, with their current run of form, you're looking at the Newport game. They were beaten by, I believe, Forest Green, which are the league leaders. Which, fair enough, they drew to near bottom of the table, Oldham. It's a tricky one. We've obviously got Newport this weekend. We've got Bradford next weekend. Then we've got a run of games. I believe it's Tranmere on Friday night. Then we've got Newcastle on Saturday. Then we've got Bradford on Saturday. Then we've got Bradford on Sunday. Then we've got Newport on Saturday. Then we've got Bradford on Sunday. Then we've got Newcastle on Saturday. Then we've got Bradford on Friday night. Then we've got a run of games. I believe it's Tranmere on Friday night. then it's Port Vale, Exeter, all them games. It's tough, but I'll be happy with for the next 5 games. I think any Stags fan will be happy with at least 10 points. I believe a win is achievable against Newport. A win against managerless Bradford is definitely achievable. I think they've been struggling as well. They're 11th in the league. It's a tough one, but 10 points from the next 15 points, I think is doable. Really.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Yeah, the tough games. I'm just looking at the fixtures now. Like you say, Newport this weekend, then Bradford the next. And I mean, yeah, look, the teams that's there and thereabouts. But like I've said before in previous streams, if you want to get promoted, you've got to beat the teams around you. It's as simple as that. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but you've just got to do it. And I mean, I think this is the first time I think a lot of Stags fans actually feel confident that we can actually do this. And this is a thing. Not to say it wasn't in previous seasons, but this season it just feels a bit more togetherness within the team. When I think this is a benefit of having a tight squad, because when you've got a big squad of players, it can have unnerve. You've got players that aren't playing, but when you've got such a tight knit squad, the players know each other. They know everyone's going to play a part at some point. And I think that's what we'll see. I mean, Danny Johnson, for example, he hasn't played much at all since he's come back from his injury. He got chucked in the other day at Bristol. So these players will get the chance. Matty Longstaff as well. He only got his first start last week as well. So, there's so many players there that we haven't really seen the best of yet. And, we've got 17 odd games to go. There's so much that can happen. So everyone's still going to have a massive part to play in this season. Even just down to Marit Steck. He hasn't played at all. But yet even from the bench, you can see him fist pumping when we've won a game. And it's amazing because everyone's just together on and off the pitch. And this is the kind of team spirit that you need to get through these run of forms.
Yeah, it's just confidence. It's just confidence within the squad. And yeah, it's like you said, Marek Steck to Nigel Clough, they're all happy. They're all together when we've won a game, we've drawn a game, we've lost a game. It's that sense of togetherness, and that's I think what will take the team over the line, whether they'll get promoted or not. The togetherness within the squad is probably going to be the deciding factor whether we get promoted into League One or not. And I think on current form and on paper, with the squad we have and with the confidence and togetherness we have, I think we should get promoted. We should get promoted. It's whether they can deliver it and whether they can put the performances in between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple as that. Just consistency. That's all it comes down to as well. Like you say, confidence obviously is a big thing. Well, it's like one of the biggest things, obviously. It's like with anything. But yeah, confidence, like you say, is a massive factor. Consistency. And if you can't win a game, just draw it. Just don't lose it. And that's the biggest thing as well, because, points might not seem much, but obviously when you consider the fact that we just missed out on a point a couple of seasons ago, a point is massive at any game, regardless. So it doesn't matter. It's, a point can be such a valuable come end of the season. Let's have a look more at your comments. Call Man, think Bradford missed out on extra cash. We could have took double allocation. Was it a safety issue? I really don't know, because you look at the size of their stadium. Obviously, it's a massive stadium. Huge for this league. To be honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a massive stadium like that, and yet we can't have more than that. I don't understand it personally, to be honest. So I won't be the best person to ask. But yeah, as soon as it went on sale, both times they were gone. It was just quite manic, to be fair. So hopefully you've got yourself a ticket, guys. If not, then your luck's out, unfortunately. But yeah, for a stadium of that size, you would have thought they would have put more on sale. To be fair, I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah, with a team like Bradford and a stadium like Bradford have at the Valley Parade, it's quite bamboozling that they only gave us 2,100, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
But saying that, we are taking the biggest away following to their stadium. I think Oldham was the highest currently with 1,100. So. We are taking close to double that, but they are giving us a portion of one of their stand and then the stand behind the goal. So it's weird, but I think it could be a safety issue. Maybe they're unable to open half of the east stand to us, and then the behind the goal stand. But yeah, it's a weird one. It is really weird.
Yeah, it is. It is an odd one, to be fair. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think they'll issue any more tickets, to be fair. So I think that is the maximum allocation, unless it does change. But at this moment in time, I think that's pretty much it. I think, guys, unless they do put something up, I don't see them doing that. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. So just keep your eyes and ears out for that. LN, would you guys be satisfied with a point against Exeter? I think it all depends on how the other results go, to be fair. I think obviously we've got a couple of games before that, to be honest. But a point's never bad, like we've just said a few minutes ago. But I think it wouldn't be a bad result if we did. I think it just depends on the other results as well, to be fair. But I hope we'd win the home games because our home form has been really good this season so far. So, but it wouldn't be the worst of result, a draw, to be fair. What about you, Adrian? What's your take on that?
A draw is a draw, but you're realistically wanting a win, especially with our home record, 9 consecutive league victories. Currently, we have the top home record alongside, I believe it's Tranmere in League Two. So yeah, I'd take a point, but I don't think the Stags boys and Nigel Clough will be satisfied for a point. I think they'll be wanting a win, especially against a promotion contender like Exeter.
Yeah, I mean, they're the teams you want to beat. Simple as that. If you want to get promotion, you've got to beat teams around you. I mean, not just in the league normally, but even if it comes to the playoffs, for example. So you've got to beat these teams that are around you. Simple as that. I mean, we did it against Swindon, so hopefully we can do the similar thing against Exeter, but just not make it as dramatic as what we did. But yeah, as long as you win the game, who cares? Just doesn't matter how you find a way. If it means playing scruffy at times, just find a way to win. But I don't see us doing that under Nigel because we do tend to play football, to be fair. But it'll be a good game when it comes round because Exeter are a good football inside like ourselves. So it'll be a good game when we come round to it, to be fair. But let's just focus on one game at a time. Start at Newport on Saturday and then just go from there because who knows, we could come up to it and touch wood we do, where we've won 2 on the trot and we're going into it full of confidence, really. So let's hope so. Let's have a look. Evening, Timothy. Hope Mack is fit for Saturday. Akins didn't do too well at left back in the last game. Yeah, we was massively without Macca. You could just tell, you miss them balls into the box, don't you? So, the likes of Reece Oates can, get a head on it or somebody in the box. His work rate, the partnership with Stephen Quinn that they've got. So, yeah, it was a massive loss. And although Lucas Akins can play there, because he's very versatile, it's one of them. It was just an enforced change, really, to be fair, because I think Kieran Wallace was also unavailable as well. So, it was one of them where, didn't have the best of games. But then again,
simple option.
Yeah, he's great. Doncaster, as a wing back.
Exactly.
Brilliant money,
I mean, Lucas Akins isn't your natural left back. I don't think he's still lacking match fitness. I think he's still not 100%. So yeah, it was tricky for Lucas to get up to speed and kind of have his defensive hat on. But with Macca, I don't think it was concussion protocols. It was suspected concussion when he came off against Colchester. That's why we made that 4th substitution, because Macca came off as a concussion substitution. But yeah, we missed Macca on the left hand side. It gives us a different dimension, like you said, that partnership with Stephen Quinn, and yeah, it was tough, but it was a 0-0. It finished a draw. We got a point. Move on to the next game against Newport, and hopefully we can get a win against them.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said earlier on when we first came and talked about the Bristol game, it's one of them. Yeah, we had chances, but look, no draw, you clean sheet away from home. Like say you win your home games, you draw your odd away game and try and get maximum away wins if you can, then that's how you really do it, to be fair. But no, I can't really complain at that, to be fair. I think the only obviously concern is going into this weekend's game against Newport is Reece Oates, because he's a bit touch and go. I think Nigel said he was a doubt for the game, so that'll be a bit of a miss if obviously he is out. But then again, it gives Danny Johnson a good chance as well. So to be fair, it gives him a chance to really put a stake in the claim for the first team if he is injured.
Yeah, it's tricky, that one, because Reece Oates and Jordan Barry are such a good partnership, such a good forward partnership, and seeing Reece Oates injured is kind of a bit of downer on a current run of form, because he's been doing so well, and him and Jordan Barry are astonishing, to be fair, with their work rates, their work ethics, and the goals that they've scored for us. But yeah, Danny Johnson, I suppose you could play him against Newport. I mean, you could maybe throw up Ollie Hawkins up front with Jordan Barry, play Farron Drawson and John Joe O'Toole at the back. We'll see when the lineup comes out at 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. We can't predict anything because sometimes Nigel Clough's lineups are very unpredictable. So yeah, it's tricky to predict anything regarding the lineups and the next game, because if Reece Oates is injured and he doesn't play, and Danny Johnson is fit and Ollie Hawkins moves up front, it could move all about, and you could even see Jordan Barry play at centre back. So you never know what could happen with the lineup. But yeah, it'll be a miss if Oates is injured.
Or it could even be mind games from Clough. He could be saying to Newport, yeah, he's injured, don't worry about him. And the next thing you know, he's on the starting lineup. So who knows, to be fair, he could be doing a goes in read of Nigel Clough. But no, we'll just have to wait and see, like you say, when we see the lineup come 2 o'clock, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, like I say, obviously Newport, fellow promotion team that we're coming up against. But it's one of them, we've had a fairly decent record against Newport, to be fair, over the years anyway. They've always been good games, but yeah, I mean, like I say, regardless of who we play, it doesn't really matter who you play, where you play, you've just got to pick up the results, and the form that we've been in, I think we've always got a chance. I think we've always got a chance, but like you say, it all depends on the weather as well, down in Newport as well. Like you say, that could get worse, so we might not get a game on, depending on how that goes as well. Obviously with the weather and the pitch are down there as well, but hopefully it is on, because I think we've had a few too many piss moments from our liking.
Well, their pitch is one of the best in the league now, as they got that sorted in September, and they played at the Cardiff City Stadium whilst their pitch got renovated. So hopefully it holds out, because I'm travelling down there and I don't want to be waking myself up at 7 a.m. and going, 11 a.m. You get a text message. It's been called off, and you're traveling back from Wales up to Mansfield for another 2.5 hours. It's not a pretty journey down to South Wales. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't get called off. Hopefully the Stags boys put in a good performance, and hopefully there is no postponements, because I don't think there's any available slots until the end of the season. I think we're pretty much full up. We're pretty much full up with our schedule. So yeah, it'd be interesting what will happen. But fingers crossed, touch wood, that the game is not called off.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, if they've done, renovation to the pitch, then it should hold up well, to be fair. So it's been a long time coming from, I tell you, But yeah, let's hope it does. Let's hope. Because at the end of the day, no team at this stage of the season wants any games to be postponed, regardless of where they are, especially when they're going for promotion, especially. Man, has the hotel plans been put to bed, or did it not get mentioned at the forum? Not really, not from what I've heard myself personally, although I'll have to go and double check on that, but I don't remember anything being mentioned other than that it was just the Bishop Street stand more than anything that got brought up in it. But like I say, guys, I'm sure in the next few days it'll be uploaded in full, so you can watch it on iFollow as well, so you get to see what got said and what didn't get said. But I think if anything, it was just great to see the supporters back seeing the manager. I mean, it's been quite a few years due to COVID that we've actually had an evening with the manager as well as the chief executive. So it was good for the supporters to get their questions asked. But if you went to the evening with, guys, let us know what your thoughts was. But yeah, it was great. It's always great to see the fans and the club together, and like we've spoke about before so many times, the togetherness on and off the pitch with the fans is just, it's the best I think I've seen at the club for quite a few years, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the final evening was with John Dempster and Lee Glover ahead of a 1920 season, which was obviously postponed due to COVID in March time. But yeah, the togetherness is there. The structure is very good at the club. So, I mean, if it continues like this, and I hope it continues like this, you definitely see a fruitful partnership between. I mean, a few clubs like your Premier League clubs, maybe you get an affiliation with your Manchester United or your Man Cities, especially with Nathan Bishop, because there was a lot of questions regarding his future and whether he'll stay at the club, and it's obviously all going to rely on whether we get promoted as a club. If we don't get promoted, he's likely not going to want to stay on because Manchester United are likely going to want to put him up at a higher level. So yeah, the togetherness is there. It was nice to see an evening between the manager, the CEO, and the fans, and the fans ask for questions. It's always nice when one of these evenings is put on. So yeah, the club have done very well in putting those events together. So hopefully they continue putting it on, because I think the fans really do treasure these moments very, very much.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I think it's good for any club to have that, really, to be honest, because I mean we've had it in previous seasons where we've had managers like any club's had where they've just not liked the setup, the structure, But like I say, with Nigel Clough, you know what you're going to get. Brutally honest, he's not going to fob anybody off. He's obviously not going to sign anybody for the sake of it. It's just straight to John Bull, that old-fashioned type. And I think we've been lacking that for so long, to be fair. And that, you look at the recruitment, and the players that we've got, even the players that aren't playing as much, they generally want to be here. They want to be part of the journey that we're on at this season. And like I say, even players that haven't really played as much this season, there's still a chance for them to make an impact. Because obviously injuries and suspensions with the many games that we've got coming up, so everyone could still play a part this season. But yeah, overall it was great. It was a great fun night, and like I say, guys, it should be put up in the next couple of days or maybe next week, so you get to check it out for yourself. But like I say, it's always good when these evenings are on, because again, it's been a long time since we've had it. But yeah, it's always good for supporters and the club to get together. So looking ahead to the Newport game, obviously, like we spoke about, fellow playoff team. Again, like I keep saying, they're a team that are up there similar to us, but again, all we can really do is just focus on what we're doing, and if we can play to our strengths and just take our chances, then we should be more than fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, focus on ourselves is the main thing, but getting 3 points is another. I think if we do get back to winning ways, it's another positive step in the right direction. We're only from memory, I think we're only 3-4 points away from the playoffs. From the automatic promotion places, with Exeter occupying third spot. So yeah, I think taking one game at a time and obviously making sure that we get a decent result against Newport is probably the main focus for the team. And then whatever comes after that, it's crucial to get wins and draws, especially in the latter parts of the season, because these parts of the season are make or break. If a side slumps and loses their footing and goes on a poor run of form, it could be the end of their season. They could slump down to even mid-table. So yeah, I think a positive result is needed against Newport, and hopefully it will come, because the squad is confident. Like I said, the togetherness is there, and the squad is more or less fully fit in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the league table now, and obviously at the minute we're in sixth. We've only played 29 games, so we've still got over 3 games to play, I believe, over Tranmere, for example. So we're still in a really good position now. 49 points. We're not too far off from third place Exeter Light. So again, there's so many teams, like you say, that are around us. But I think we've still got a massive chance. Still. So and if we can win on Saturday, then we can be up as high as 5th, depending on how Sutton United get on. So yeah, and again, focus on ourselves like we always do and say. So yeah, and I can only see teams above us drop points, to be fair, because they ain't going to be able to keep that consistency up at the minute. And I just think, we're the informed team, unbeaten, and again, we're going to take unbeaten.
Yeah, definitely. We're not the only informed team. There's obviously Exeter. There's obviously Forest Green as well, who are on a somewhat of a barnstorming 20-game unbeaten run for the last time I checked. I think they've more or less sealed their win and crown of League Two champions 2021-2022, because I don't think there's many teams stopping them unless we stop them twice in the space of a couple of weeks at the back end of the season. But yeah, I mean, like I keep on saying, I'm sounding like a kind of a broken record, but this league is very unpredictable. You don't know what will happen. Teams could pick up points. Teams could lose out on a couple of points, and the table could be completely flipped. So one game at a time, and I think that's the most important thing for us.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's exactly it. Just game at a time. No point looking too bad, and that's what I mean. That's all you really can do. Man, I think I will be happy with a point at Newport and win at Bradford with a large following there. I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of fans would take that, to be fair. If I'm honest, 4 points, I think if somebody said that to you now, I think you'd be all tempted to take that, to be quite honest with you. I'd be more than happy to take 4 points from 2 games, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just like we keep on saying, if we take 4 points, a draw and a win, it keeps our unbeaten run going, moves up to 13, 14 games, and you're happy as Larry. You're moving close to the automatic promotion places, and yeah, it's positive that if we continue our unbeaten run going, because it's all about consistency in this league. We keep on going consistently, and you never know. We could be sat in the automatic promotion places in 2 or 3 games time. You never know.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean. So again, a couple of results like we've seen. The run that we've been going on. Not just the unbeaten one, but the winning run that we was on. Just shows that. So. But this is what makes League Two such a good league and a competitive league for the neutral point of view, because there's that many teams, that could just be up there or thereabouts. But, hopefully we do go up automatically, because I don't think I could bear doing the playoffs again, because it's such a bloody nightmare. It's literally like a lottery, in it, being in the playoffs, to be fair, because, not always does the best team that's in it usually wins. And I think we find that out against Newport of all teams. So let's hope we don't repeat that. But yeah, look, that's what I mean. We've got so many games to play. 3 games in hand over Tranmere. And Tranmere themselves, they've lost their last 2 games. So, and if they lose again, then obviously we do pick up points, and we edge closer to them as well. So yeah, like I say, we've just got to just keep on top of our form. But again, we've got a manager and players. Some of the players that have been there, done that. They know what it takes. So we've definitely got the experience and the know-how. Yeah, so we've got a massive chance still, and it's just going to be such an exciting running. And I don't think anybody would have said that at the start of the season, to be fair. But that's a laugh in the Mansfield Town fan. It comes out of completely nowhere. This does.
Yeah, it's weird. We either do it the hard way, which is the Mansfield Town way, or we do it the easy way, which likely won't happen. We'll probably do it the Mansfield Town way, and we'll probably battle through the playoffs, which I dread to dream that we'll win. But it's always a lottery, the playoffs. It's always hard to pick out a winner, especially when the playoffs get underway. But I think if we get automatic promotion, I think everybody will be happy. I don't think we should be bothering with the playoffs. I think we've got enough capable squad, enough capable management team to get us up automatically, and some of these players that have the know-how of gaining promotion. So I think their experience and especially their expertise on getting teams promoted, I think that essentially will get us over the line if we are to get promoted at the end of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I think we've got such a good mixture of young players and experience. It's just such a good combination of both, to be fair. And, it's like some of the players that we've signed in the January transfer window, for example, Lucas Akins, another promotion winner, Jamie Murphy, who, to be fair to Jamie Murphy, to say that he hasn't played much football, I mean, I'm going against his performance against Colchester, but I thought he played really well in that game, to be fair. And, it's players like that really can push over the line. I mean, yeah, they're lacking a bit of fitness due to them not really being played much or injuries, but again, it just typifies the strength and depth we've got at the squad. And again, going forward, that can only benefit us in the long run, really, when you've got players fighting for each place and each spot. And again, that's it's only going to be beneficial to us going forward.
Yeah, it's players fighting for each other. That's essentially what will get us over the line as well. It's key to have that, to kind of have that healthy competition throughout the squad, because if there's none of that, then all the players are likely to relax, and there will be no competition in the squad, and the effort levels will likely drop. But healthy competition never hurt anyone. So hopefully it continues, because we've got so much versatility, so much play. Where we've got 11 starting spots and players in the substitutes bench, reserve, are fighting for places in the squad. So yeah, it's good to have that healthy competition to keep the squad ticking along and to keep everybody on their toes. And if they don't perform, they're likely to slip out of the squad. So yeah, it's beneficial to have that. And yeah, I think that's another factor that drives the team forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got to, because at the end of the day, you've got to be all on the same page, because, if you have a couple of bad eggs in the dressing room, which we've had in the past with certain players, it can affect the dressing room. But, this squad of players, it's just everyone's on the same page. There doesn't seem to be any players that are like prima donnas. Everyone's working hard, because I don't think for a second Nigel would stand for that. I don't think he'd stand for any player, acting as though, he knows it all, or being the big I am type thing. And that just, again, that's why I think he's done well as a manager as well, because, the players that we've got at the club are hard-working players. And I know you've got to have a bit more than that, obviously, you've got to have the quality, but I think, again, in this league, I think that's what you need. You need to be doing the dirty side of the game, the chasing down, even when you haven't got the ball, managing the game as well. And I think we've been doing that. I think it's shown past couple of games with the defence, really. We've managed to keep a couple of clean sheets. And I think the thing is with the defence, even the games that we was winning in, we didn't get many clean sheets, in my opinion. But now we're starting to get that now. So we're building a solid foundation. And when you're hard to score against, then again, that's a massive thing in itself. And again, when you've got players like John Joe O'Toole, Stephen Quinn in the team, just to name a couple of players in there, and massive, especially for the younger players as well, and same with James Persh as well.
Yeah, you've got to have a mixture of everything within a squad to be successful, and I think we generally do have that. Like you mentioned there, Stephen Quinn, John Joe O'Toole, James Persh. I'll even put Ollie Clark in there, as he's one of our experienced players. But yeah, I think we've got a very good mix within the squad, and I don't think we've got any bad eggs in the dressing room. I think the dressing room is very humble, is very confident, is very much together at the current time. I don't think they'd obviously turn on each other. They're personally working for one aim together, which is promotion. And if they don't get it, they'll obviously feel like they failed the club, failed the community, and whatnot. But I generally do think that they know their aim, they know their roles in the squad, and I think that's what has brought them together so well, and that's how they've gelled fantastically throughout this season so far.
Yeah, that's it. I think it hit the nail on the head there, to be honest with you. Yeah, and it does. And like I say, we keep repeating ourselves, but again, that's you can't really say much more than that because you can see the town now, the fans are actually getting behind the club. I mean, like I say, obviously that just typifies it when you sell out within what less than I think it was just over an hour against Bradford the first time round, and it just shows you, people want to be back in the club. Whether that be home away. I mean, I know it's been like that even when we wasn't doing well at the start of the season, but even more so now. Everybody just has a good feel about the place. You look forward to coming to the games, and you just know that we're in for a good chance because no matter who we come up against, with the players that we've got, how we play, the team spirit, we've got it all there. We're good off the pitch in terms of resources and again, when you can get players like Matty Longstaff to come down and play with you, even though it was literally over just over something daft like that to get him to come to the club, it just shows you like everyone wants to play a big part.
Yeah, everybody's happy at the club currently, and hopefully this does continue because we are building something positive, and it'll be good to see that. Good to see this squad get promoted after all their efforts, especially after going 14, 15 games without a win at the start of the season. It just typifies our luck sometimes. Our luck has been rotten at times, and I think that seeing the squad become so confident, so outgoing, so together, I think it's perfect, and I think it hits. I think it ticks every single squad for Nigel Clough because he doesn't change the squad very rarely unless it's either suspension or injury, and I think he's very happy with the squad. So yeah, whatever happens with the squad, I give my full back into Nigel Clough because he knows what he's doing. He's taken us to the playoffs currently, and hopefully he gets us promoted at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. Obviously, we obviously as fans, we look at the lineup sometimes and think, why's he starting? Why not playing there, sort of thing. But anyway, I'm not going to complain about anything that Nigel does. I mean, look where we are in the league, So I'm I'm not going to question the guy at all. I know there was a few people that did earlier on in the season, but I think a lot of them people are eating the words right now. To be fair, but credit to him for for doing that. Ashley, evening, Mark. How's you, buddy? Yeah, brilliant, mate. Absolutely buzzing. I think every Stags fan's the same. Just we're in such a good position. Got games in hand. So many games to play. It's going to be an exciting run up to the second half of the season. Did you enjoy the fans forum yesterday, mate? Yeah, it was good. It was very informative. I like evening Wes because you get to know more about things that you perhaps didn't in normal interviews. Obviously, it gives the fans a chance to have questions as well as pictures and just have a really good evening, really, to be honest, and get to know more what's happening at the club as well. So, yeah, and these events, they're always beneficial, especially when the team's doing so well. I don't think it'd been as good if we weren't doing so well, though, to be fair, but I think when you're doing well, it certainly helps when you are doing well. Shit. Yes, it was a great night. It was a great night. So yeah, just the last question before we come off tonight. Then again to put you under the spotlight, what's your predictions for this weekend's game?
That's tough, Matt. Yeah. I mean, I've said throughout this podcast that a win is a must. I think we've got to look at their current run of form. They've not won in 3 games, and previous to that, they went on a 4-game winning run. So I think we've got to capitalise on their current form, and but we've got to get a win. So if you're getting a score from me, I think it'll be 2-0, and I think we will get that clean sheet because Nathan Bishop looks like he's a man on a mission. He's getting those clean sheets one after another, and I think he's top class. So hopefully he'll hang on to another clean sheet, and hopefully we do get a victory in South Wales.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully we do get a clean sheet. I'm probably just going to say 1-0, but just anything really. I mean, clean sheets are always nice, and I think with the defence being solid these past couple of weeks, I can see a clean sheet, to be fair. And like you say there, Newport, just looking at it again, they've not won in the last 3 games, and they're the teams that you really want to capitalise on. I mean, all due respect to them, but, it's like the same with Tranmere. They're the same kind of predicament. They haven't won in a couple of games. And again, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to get teams above you or around you that are going to drop points. And when that happens, you capitalise on that, because, it's as simple as that, But yeah, I'm going to say 1-0 Stags on that one. And the last couple of questions before we go off, this always happens, but every time I come off of there's always people asking me questions. Ashley, did you ask anything? No, I was just quite happy to sit in my beer, to be honest, and just enjoy the night, to be fair. But I was going to ask a couple of questions, but I had a couple of questions, but the questions I wanted to ask, people hadn't asked any on my behalf, sort of thing. So I was like, well, they've already asked it, so yeah. Call man, I think we're lucky to have John Radford back in the club. Fan base is getting bigger. Everyone wants to be behind a successful team. I think that's one of the top comment of the night, to be fair. I can't really add anything more to that. What a brilliant comment that is to wind off a great podcast, to be fair. What's your thoughts on that, Adrian?
Yeah, no, and nothing. I don't think we need to say more on that. I think it perfectly ends the podcast fair. I think a successful team, John Radford back in the club. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, on a positive note, that's it for tonight. Thanks, excuse me. Thanks again for commenting. And like I say, hopefully next time we speak, hopefully I get the team that we're playing next week right. It's definitely Newport, not Bradford. So don't go to Bradford this weekend because it'll be somewhat totally different. So just make sure you're in Newport this weekend and cheering the team on. Or if you can't make it to Newport, listen to an iFollow or Mount 103.2 and get behind the boys. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Thanks again, Adrian, for coming on. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your evening, mate, to come on.
No worries. Anytime.
Brilliant, mate. Okay. Take care, mate. Take care, everyone else as well. Hope you all have a great evening, and let's hope we have another amazing weekend talking about the 3 points to the Stags. So on that note, I'm going to leave off on a high. Thanks again, guys. Take care. All the best.